What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 11th day of November in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. Senior Minister with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, today said regional and international companies are not obligated to form local partnerships when doing business in Guyana. But he added that it is highly encouraged as a way to boost local content. The finance minister made this statement this morning while addressing a trade delegation from the United Kingdom. He said once the laws of Guyana are respected, companies are free to select business models that best suit them.
I would not go so far as to say that we insist on you coming in with a local partner. I would definitely not say that. I wouldn't even discourage you. I wouldn't say to you, don't come to Guyana unless you're coming with a Guyanese partner. I would definitely not say that to you. I would say to you that Guyana is open for business to everybody. As long as you're willing to come to Guyana, respect the laws of the country, do business in accordance with those laws, bring the highest standards of business ethics, of business capability, technology, etc., we welcome you in Guyana.
Dr. Singh said to ensure Guyanese benefit from the country's rapidly growing economy, the government introduced local content legislation, highlighting a total of 40 services which must be sourced from Guyanese businesses at various degrees. Dr. Singh explained that with an estimated 11 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, the third largest in Latin America and the Caribbean, the government is putting the necessary institutional framework in place to effectively manage Guyana's resources.
The benefit of that experience, that accumulated global experience, we're using this period to put in place the things that are necessary to make sure that we avoid those perils, and that we do this right in a way that, first of all, will redound to the benefit of all of the Guyanese people in a lasting manner, and also in a manner that would ultimately be a good, replicable example to the world. We want to get this right so that Guyana will be the example cited for generations to come of a country that used its resource windfall in a manner that really did redound to the benefit of the people of the country.
The British Trade Mission was told that the opportunities for business are bountiful in Guyana. British High Commissioner to Guyana, Jane Miller, said the Commission is pleased to welcome the 4th trade mission in the country. She said 50% of the trade missions that have visited Guyana are now doing business in Guyana, adding that the success is as a result of the strong relationship that is shared between Guyana and the United Kingdom.
I think the British brand is seen as a very strong thing here. People see it as quality, people see it as something where there's a long-term relationship. We're not fly-by-night type businesses. We come in, we tend to, as British businesses, come to invest in the country. So we've got really good relationship here.
More than 30 businesses from the UK are doing business in Guyana in the areas of construction, shipping, maritime, transport, food and drinks, defense and security, and accounts. High Commissioner Miller said the opportunities in Guyana are tremendous, and the UK ensures the success of British businesses by offering support.
For clarity, the UK government, because of our climate commitments, we do not directly work on oil and gas. But there are so many other opportunities: infrastructure, education, road safety, you name it. There are so many opportunities. I think one of the other reasons why we've been successful in our trade missions, over and above the opportunities and all the relationships we have, I think it's the support that we provide. And so you've got the Caribbean Council here who've got a good understanding of the market. You've got DBT here, our Department for Business and Trade, who are people, 3 staff you've heard, who are based here in the market. They understand the market. We also have the British Chamber of Commerce.
For its part, the UK has tripled the export finance available to the Guyanese market from £750 million to £2.1 billion. Guyana is the UK's largest trade partner in the Caribbean, with total trade amounting to £1.8 billion. The trade mission, which includes companies from the transport, infrastructure, legal, environmental, technology and shipping sectors, is being hosted by the Department of Business and Trade of the British High Commission, the Caribbean Council, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and the British Chamber of Commerce Guyana. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Honey, what were you doing? Let's catch up. Let's catch up.
Shop $5,000 or more at any Massey stores for a chance to win a 2024 Nissan Qashqai Sense and $100,000 every 2 weeks with Massey Stores Christmas Jackpot Promotion.
Are you ready for Guy Expo 2024? Join us from November 14 to 17 at the National Exhibition Center. Experience an exciting array of local products and services, live entertainment, delicious food, unique crafts, a dedicated children's zone, and so much more. The expo begins at 6 p.m. on November 14 and at 2 p.m. on the following days, and a special opening from midday on November 15 to accommodate our school children. Tickets are just $500. Children under 5 are free. Call 219-0087 or 219-0089 for more information, or visit guyexpo.gy. Guy Expo, Guyana on show, the fastest growing economy.
3 robbery suspects have been arrested in neighboring Brazil after carrying out a daring Sunday afternoon armed robbery at the Chinese-owned shopping complex in Lethem. Eyewitnesses said the Shopping 25 complex was attacked by 3 Portuguese-speaking armed men at around 1:45 p.m. on Sunday. 2 of the men were armed with handguns. The third was armed with a submachine gun. The 3 men, who were all masked, assaulted the owners of the business place before forcing them along with their workers at gunpoint into a back room. The business place was robbed of a quantity of cash and phones totaling $5 million. The police said the men exited the store and were seen running west towards the Lethem commercial zone. The police commander in the area and the team responded to the robbery reports and spotted the 3 suspects heading south near the Guyana-Brazil border. On seeing the police vehicle, the 3 suspects discharged several rounds at the police vehicle. The police returned fire, but the suspects managed to elude them. The police vehicle was hit 4 times, but no one was injured. A joint services patrol team was subsequently formed in an effort to locate the alleged suspects. They were all arrested in neighboring Brazil and remain in custody across there. Last weekend in the South Rupununi area, a checkpoint for mine workers and the Guyana Geologian Mines Commission was attacked and robbed by several members of a Brazilian gang who abducted 9 persons and used them as hostages during their escape. Those abducted were eventually released. There are calls for increased security in the bordering regions. Let's tell you now that a Kangaroo Village Mazaruni resident lost his life on Saturday in a tragic collision between 2 boats in the middle Mazaruni River. Police have identified the victim as David Ann Williams. A report from the police stated that Williams was operating a small wooden speedboat along the river when a jet boat captained by Ozil Koja slammed into the smaller boat, pitching Williams and his passenger overboard. The police report stated that the operator of the larger jet boat, Odil Koja, explained that the 2 boats were on the same side of the river, but traveling in opposite directions when the tragedy occurred. He claimed that a smaller boat that was being operated by Williams unexpectedly veered into his path, causing the collision. The police indicated that the passengers in the jet boat managed to pull the small boat operator and his passenger from the river and rushed them to the Isano landing. However, David Ann Williams was pronounced dead by a doctor. His face and his body bore multiple injuries. The passenger received injuries to his back and legs. The police said a full investigation has been launched into the river accident. Well, the co-leader of the Working People's Alliance, Dr. David Hines, indicated today that the WPA is not opposed to the 2025 general elections being deferred as a last resort to facilitate the generation of a clean voters list and the use of biometrics at polling stations if it comes down to that. Dr. Hines made a pronouncement during a virtual press conference, explaining that should the Guyana Elections Commission, with the backing of Parliament, indicate that it requires additional time to generate a clean voters list and simultaneously introduce the use of biometrics, it would not object to a delay for the elections. However, Mr. Hines said the delay should not be for more than a year.
Well, we would be guided by GECOM and GECOM's timeline. But we wouldn't want the elections, the delay, if it comes to that, we wouldn't want the delay to go beyond, let's say, a year. That would be too much. We are hoping that there is no need for a delay. But if a short delay would allow for all the doubts, all the possibilities for manipulation to be taken care of, we are prepared to support that delay. We think a delay over a year would be too much.
Together with the People's National Congress Reform and the Alliance for a Change, the WPA has been pushing for there to be a clean voters list ahead of the upcoming elections, together with the introduction of the use of biometrics at polling stations. The government has not signaled its willingness to support legislative changes that are required to generate a new voters list through house-to-house registration. However, through the Vice President, the government has said it is not against the use of biometrics at the place of poll. Dr. Hines today said the ruling party's resistance to the cleansing of the voters list to prevent voter fraud is tantamount to holding the country at ransom. He said biometrics alone would not suffice, as he underscored the need for the list to be remedied.
If we were to clean the voters list, a brand new voters list, by house-to-house registration, then that narrows the possibility for vote impersonation. But we would also like to point to what the commissioners at GECOM and I dare say some of the observers, the human element in all of this, so that you can have a clean voters list, but the human element can reach for manipulation still. And so a clean voters list with biometrics would be foolproof, almost foolproof.
The WPA official also said, given the documented instances of vote impersonation unearthed during the recount of the last elections and confirmed by immigration authorities, the use of enhanced biometrics is urgently needed. He said Guyana deserves a free and fair election, warning that if the current issues are not resolved, the coming election could well be a trigger for political instability. Dr. Hines also said it is important for the population to have confidence in the election and the electoral machinery. He said given the ruling of the courts in relation to the removal of citizens from the current list, the parties must pass legislation to facilitate the exercise.
The Guyana Elections Commission GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31st, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Types of transactions. Anyone eligible for registration is required to visit the registration office responsible for his or her area of residence to apply for registration. Persons who are already registered could apply for a name change if they have changed their names since they were last registered. Apply for corrections if there is incorrect information on their national ID cards. Persons who are desirous of conducting any of the above transactions must provide the relevant supporting documents. Persons who are already registered could request that their photographs be retaken if the quality of the photographs on their ID cards is unacceptable. Collect their new ID cards if they have not done so as yet. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, please contact GECOM on the following hotline numbers: 225-027729, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GECOM website at www.gecom.org.gy.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Leader of the People's National Congress and opposition leader Aubrey Norton on Friday said in addition to the opposition's demand for biometrics at the place of poll and a clean voters list ahead of next year's elections, the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, Claudette Singh, needs to step down. Mr. Norton has been pressing for the GECOM chairman, retired Justice Claudette Singh, to be replaced for more than 3 years. At his last press conference, Mr. Norton called for the Elections Commission to be professional in the execution of its mandate. He said at present the commission is openly serving the interests of the ruling PPP. According to Norton, the Elections Commission needs a new chairman.
The chairman of GECOM is now a partisan political actor, having voted on every occasion with the PPP members of the commission. She's a political partisan who must go. There can be no free and fair elections under her leadership. Claudette Singh is an integral part of the PPP machinery to rig the 2025 general and regional elections.
Additionally, Norton accused the Deputy Chief Election Officer of not operating in an impartial manner.
It must be recalled that it was the said Anil Giddens that disappeared with GECOM's computer hard drive in 2020 in pursuance of the PPP agenda. The opposition wishes to make it very clear that he cannot be a senior member of the GECOM staff, since he is a political partisan and cannot be expected to be part of a free and fair elections process.
He said at present the Elections Commission under its current structure cannot and will not deliver free and fair elections. The opposition leader said there is a great need for an independent and professional chairman and staff to carry out the functions of the election machinery, adding that political parties, civil society, the international community, and other stakeholders must reach a consensus on the measures to be put in place at GECOM to ensure elections are fair, credible, and acceptable to the people of Guyana. At the press conference, the opposition leader said the opposition welcomes the government's position and that it is not disposed to biometrics at the next elections. He, however, said biometrics must be part of a package to ensure free and fair elections.
Biometrics without a clean voters list will not allow for free and fair election. It is therefore imperative that we have a clean voters list in which the existence of the persons on the list is verified and it is established that they are eligible to vote.
Mr. Norton also said the opposition is prepared to give the government support at the parliamentary level to make the necessary changes to the law to ensure a clean voters list.
Every child in Guyana knows that the PPP is given every Tom, Dick, Harilal, Spanish, Chinese, and Bangladeshi's national identification cards, having removed the strict requirements to obtain a birth certificate and the verification of an eligible voter. Clearly, the system has to be fixed to ensure free and fair elections.
The government has asked the Guyana Elections Commission to have all systems in place for national elections by August of 2025. With the government set to rent a second power ship to supply additional power to the national grid, the Alliance for Change believes the move adds up to a wastage of taxpayers' money, since the hundreds of millions of dollars being used for a temporary fix could have been invested in a more permanent solution for the Guyana Power and Light Company. Earlier this year, the government, through GPL, signed a multi-million-dollar contract with Erbakan Concessions of Qatar in collaboration with Car Power Ship International of Turkey to rent the power ship for 2 years. However, despite that intervention and the purchase of several used generating sets, which also attracted millions of dollars, the power problems have continued, and frequent power outages occur almost daily in parts of the city and in Berbice. On Thursday, Vice President Mara Jagdew announced the rental of a second power ship, which will be expected to bring some 60 megawatts of additional power to the Demerara-Berbice interconnected system. At a press conference on Friday, however, opposition member of parliament and chairman of the Alliance for Change, David Patterson, said the costs associated with the rental of the power ships are exorbitant.
Cumulatively, the summary of the costs that we will be paying, Guyana will be paying, because of the poor decision making of the PPP, because they had zero plan for our power sector, just for the rental of these two ships. Per day, 126 million Guyana dollars. Per year, 46 billion Guyana dollars. And of course, with 2 years contract, that'll be 94 billion Guyana dollars, which are 426 million US dollars.
Mr. Patterson also said while the cost only covers generation, there are also other rentals and administrative costs. And when those are added, the country will find itself paying as much as $136 billion annually for the rental of the 2 power ships.
So obviously, you can by those numbers assess how poorly GPL is being managed by the PPP and how much more just for these 2 sets that the government has caused us by their poor decision making. They've invested very little other than the gas to shore, which is mounting. All these extra costs now has to be added on to the cost of the gas to shore, because obviously the only reason we are renting is because the gas to shore project, which is supposed to be finished and completed and operational right now at the end of 2024 with the initial estimate, still is not. It will be another year.
According to the opposition member of parliament, apart from the gas to energy project, the government has not shown any real effort to add additional power to the national grid, despite more hotels and businesses being opened and the demand for power rising steadily.
Every single thing that they have done has been ad hoc and poor management. And that's why we are here where we are. We left them with a projection which says that you need a certain amount of power every year. You have to buy it. It takes approximately a year to buy, ship, install, hook up a generator of say 60 megawatts and over. So obviously you have to be doing this a year in advance. They did absolutely nothing.
The government has been pushing the gas to shore project, which is expected to come on stream sometime next year.
Are you ready for Guy Expo 2024? Join us from November 14 to 17 at the National Exhibition Center. Experience an exciting array of local products and services, live entertainment, delicious food, unique crafts, a dedicated children's zone, and so much more. The expo begins at 6 p.m. on November 14 and at 2 p.m. on the following days, and a special opening from midday on November 15 to accommodate our school children. Tickets are just $500. Children under 5 are free. Call 219-0087 or 219-0089 for more information, or visit guyexpo.gy. Guy Expo, Guyana on show, the fastest growing economy.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. GUYOIL is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of GUYOIL's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. GUYOIL has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 hours, 13 hours to 16 hours 30, and Friday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, contact the GECOM on 225-027729 or visit the website www.gecom.org.gy.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Across the region tonight, Haitian Prime Minister Gary Conille has been fired by the country's ruling council, less than 6 months after he took office. An executive order signed by 8 of the council's 9 members named businessman and former Haitian Senate candidate Alex Didier Filzami as Conille's replacement. Conille, a former UN official, was brought in to lead Haiti through an ongoing gang-led security crisis and had been expected to help pave the way for the country's first presidential elections since 2016. He described his ouster as illegal, saying in a letter seen by the Reuters news agency that it raised serious questions about Haiti's future. Haiti currently has neither a president nor parliament, and according to its constitution, only the parliament can sack a sitting prime minister. Conille was sworn in on the 3rd of June. Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council was created back in April after Ariel Henry, Conille's predecessor, was forced from office by a network of gangs that had taken over parts of the capital of Port-au-Prince. Henry left Haiti to attend the summit in Guyana on the 25th of February, and gang members subsequently seized the city's international airport, preventing him from returning. The council was tasked with restoring democratic order to Haiti, where such violence is rife. Jamaicans with unpaid student loans who migrate to the U.S. will face significant challenges when they seek to update or renew their immigration status. Manager of the Loan Servicing Department at the Students' Loan Bureau, Cheryl Surja, said the government of Jamaica and their U.S. counterparts have forged a partnership to identify Jamaican immigrants with outstanding student loan debts. She cited several cases of categories of professionals who migrated to the U.S. among other countries, leaving unpaid student loans back in Jamaica. The official said the arrangement with the U.S. government has assisted the agency in collecting outstanding loans. She, however, cautioned that it is best if persons notify the Bureau prior to migrating and arrange to service their debt. And finally, at this time, international news. Shigeru Ishiba, the leader of Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party, has secured a new term as the country's prime minister after a parliamentary vote today. The 67-year-old was first sworn in as Prime Minister in September, after his predecessor, Fumio Kishida, stepped down amid a series of scandals that rattled public trust in the party. Ahead of the special parliamentary session today, Ishiba and his cabinet resigned to make way for the prime ministerial vote. Hours later, he won a runoff vote against opposition leader Yoshiko Noda. He will now have to navigate hostilities within his own party, economic woes, and a period of flux in international relations. As the leader of a minority government, he also faces the challenge of having to heed the demands from the opposition bloc for any future bills or budget to pass, with fears of a potential political gridlock in a hung parliament. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable night.